What's going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today to talk about how Dark Dimension 7 has been ongoing now that it's been live for a few days, but we've been able to get some really valuable insight from the fellow Krakens and whales that are currently participating in Dark Dimension 7. So definitely we're going to be pointing out some things here, but as well some potential traps that we may need to watch out for, especially if you guys are working towards this ultimate goal of unlocking Mephisto in the coming months. It's seemingly showing us that this is going to be a Dark Dimension that's unlike any other we've seen before. So as you can see on screen here under Epic Campaigns, this is where we're going to be finding Dark Dimension 7, right? So typically what we're where all the rest of the other Dark Dimensions is. Difference is that this time now it is going to be this new Crimson Red gear featuring gear tier 19 that's going to be required. So you can already see that there's a couple of key notable figures that were known in game that are currently participating, and even with these folks, like, it's been only 4 days, but typically with the Dark Dimension releases that come, you know, there's some notable figures in the past, such as Fate's Fury, Tadano Mac, that have been able to complete 40-50% of the Dark Dimension in just a day or two, right? And even Beta Ray Bill, he actually completed Dark Dimension 6 in about a day last time it got released. So look at this, right? The percentage is already kind of telling of how much more difficult this Dark Dimension 7 is, but as well, how important the resource management side is going to be. So I'm going to be breaking that down for you guys today to understand that better, but as well what we can watch for in the community and how we can best prepare. So you hit go. What I really do like about this preview is that although we can't participate just yet because we don't have 5 characters at gear tier 19 and so forth, we can actually take a look at how they've done and which teams and characters they have been using. So if you hit the graph bar here that's below, you can actually see how Platypus, Messiah, Fate's Fury, Beta Ray Bill, Chuck Norris, you can see their highest damage upon the completion of the node, and that gives us some really valuable information as a player because we can see what teams work, right? For example, you know, Platypus using Apocalypse, Skrull, Quicksilver, Black Knight, and Kang got a 442 million damage hit as opposed to Fate's Fury at 368. We got Beta Ray Bill at 101 and then Chuck Norris at 31. So obviously you can see which kind of characters and teams we can already kind of start thinking about in terms of bringing up. It's really valuable because if you go back to the additional eye too, you can see how much million each node is worth, right? So this one's 571 million to complete the node. And again, Platypus was able to do 442. That means he had an opportunity here where he did more than half the node in one attempt, which is pretty notable. That means this team has some really great synergy. But as well, notable figures like what we've seen here with Apocalypse and Skrull being very, very important, and many of these mythic characters already being locked in, right? So if you guys don't know, this is the first Dark Dimension that does feature the mythic trait, which are the last 2 nodes here, Mission 12, Mission 13. But the nice thing about this is that it does give us the option here of 4 to 5 mythic characters, as opposed to the previous nodes where we've seen that they require a minimum of 5 characters for the new node. So nice to see that in the long run for sure. But guys, as we glance over and over here, I do want to point out the very obvious kind of resource management red flag in my honest opinion. And again, me being free to play, I'm constantly thinking about planning the next node, planning how I'm going to continue the momentum, right? And what I'm seeing is that, yes, I do think that both Super Skrull and Apocalypse are going to have immense value, especially in these first couple of nodes, as you see, right? This is node 2 that I'm looking at. Fate's Fury doing 620 million, Platypus doing 273, Beta Ray Bill doing 111. Especially this notable team, right? Dr. Doom with Black Knight and Val combined with Skrull and Apocalypse. The obvious thing I want to point out is that this is a very, very expensive team. Now, mind you, they're getting probably amazing value right now because both Skrull and Apocalypse are also used in Arena, same with Black Knight. So you're getting value across the different game modes right now by bringing these characters up. But I think the big thing we're forgetting here, and I hope folks are paying attention, is that when you build up such a powerful team in the first 3 nodes here, and these first 3 because they don't need any specific trait requirement, so you are able to actually use any character in your arsenal. It's great for that momentum building, but we actually have not seen any of these notable whales and krakens complete the first node here of the global section. So even node 3 here, as you can see, only Platypus and Beta Ray Bill have participated in it, right? So Platypus completely crushing it with that Quicksilver Black Knight Kang combination. So obviously that's going to be a very nice combination of rosters to use because each of them are going to shine in their respective section. We do see Beta Ray Bill kind of pivoting a bit because he's bringing more of a city team for this. So he's got, you know, Robbie Reyes, we got Lizard here with Green Goblin Classic, Miss Marvel Hard Light, and Vulture. I do like that mixture there because they have some strong Sinister 6 energy and fueling Robbie with obviously turn meter and bleeds. But now when we switch over here to the global nodes, yeah, as I noted earlier, no one's done this, right? So it obviously looks very difficult, as you can see from the node requirements. Double Nemesis, Tigra, they're dealing with Kang and this new Avengers team and Black Cat at the beginning. So absolutely looks savage. But I also want to point out, guys, that because of the fact that these players, and I'll just go back to the first node here, because of the fact that many of these notable whales and Krakens built up such a top-heavy team, it's no surprise to me that they're not able to continue the momentum, right? When you have characters like Apocalypse, Quicksilver, Super Skrull all getting used up in the first 3, that completely, depletes the majority of your catalyst gear, but as well as the mini uniques involved, because these characters are very, very costly. Especially the big 2 that we know of, which is Skrull and Apocalypse. When you're bringing them in, you're gonna hit hard at first. I do, however, want to point out I like Beta Ray Bill and Chuck Norris's approach. This is probably gonna be the approach that I'm going for, because I made a preview video before on this, but I ideally want more city characters in the beginning 3 nodes. Yes, they're not going to be as godsend and completable in one shot, like such as what we've seen with Platypus and Fate's Fury. But the big thing with Dark Dimension is you want to be, planning for the long haul. You want to be continuing the momentum. All of these players now have been stalled in the city section, and mind you, we don't have a great example here yet because we don't see Beta Ray Bill actually starting off the globals yet in terms of just finishing it. But I have a strong feeling, and we're gonna wait for this, but I have a strong feeling Beta Ray Bill may very well be likely the first person to actually complete the first global node, just because I'm liking what he's doing with his synergy. He has the right idea, right? He's bringing characters that can continue the momentum, city characters, and that's the thing, right? If you invest too heavily, and that's the biggest red flag, if you invest way too heavily in these first 3 nodes, especially for characters like Skrull and Apocalypse, it's great for the first 3 nodes, but guess what? You're going to be stalled again, which is exactly no different from you basically starting Dark Dimension 7. So it's always about continuing the momentum. This is one of the biggest red flags, is building these mythic characters. Although they are going to be guaranteed, the thing is that they're at the very end of the nodes, right? They're at the very end. I would say unless I have more than enough resources to bring in both Skrull and Apocalypse, I'm going to be bringing in city characters first, because it just makes sense. Then I can actually do 5 nodes as opposed to the 3, and I'm not going to be waiting on it too much. So Chuck Norris, Beta Ray Bill, they have the right idea. They're mixing in some different synergies there. I definitely think mixing up Doctor Doom with Skrull and Apocalypse, although they're going to be required for this section later on in their mythic, it's way too early for the first 3 nodes to continue this momentum. That's why we're seeing the stalling. I think Dark Dimension 7, given how new it is, given the limited availability of Crimson gear, that's going to be the biggest bottleneck, is that continuing this momentum of resource management mixed in with obviously the constraints that we're seeing until more of these get added into the game. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But again, I think this is a huge red flag for many folks, because they're thinking that some of these characters are locked, but they're huge resource sinks too at the very beginning. So you're not going to be able to continue the momentum. And again, I'm free to play, so I'm constantly just thinking about how I'm going to best manage these resources going forward. So you'll be seeing an update from me likely in a month or 2 for this. Hopefully I can get enough gear and resources, but typically it takes me 3 to 4 months to prepare, even free to play, and I likely will be having an opportunity to start, which is awesome to see, and making that journey here for the next ultimate big bad here in Mephisto. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.